Well, we were going to hang around a little bit down at the bottom of Ningaloo Reef, but we've decided to make a move because the weather pattern that's coming along, we're going to run out of any sort of wind, and then it's going to come directly from the south in a big way. So we're going to try and get up to Norwegian Bay, so we've got somewhere to explore if we get shut down by the wind, and make it that a little bit more close to Exmouth, because we're going to pull in there before we go further north.
Welcome to Free Range Sailing. For those of you that are new here, I'm Pascal and this is Troy. For the last 4 years and 180 episodes, we've circumnavigated Australia, culminating with a very demanding year refitting our 1969 Australian-built Clansman 30 sloop-rigged yacht and sailing her across the Great Australian Bight. Now we've returned to our home state, we're taking the time to explore some of the places we didn't get the chance to see as much of before. Join us each week for more great sailing, fishing and adventure as we cruise the West Australian coast.
Once upon a time, before we started getting around in this little 30-footer, I worked on some bigger boats. And they've had some pretty fancy trash compactors, you know, some garbage compactors for plastics and things like that. Obviously, when you're surfing around 12 miles away from land, a lot of stuff can go overboard. But plastics and stuff never ever can, no matter where you are. So they always normally get compacted and then disposed of on shore. How many weeks worth of rubbish have we got here at the moment, Pasky?
4 weeks.
So we've got 4 weeks of rubbish compacted here, and we'll have a look at what it is. What's that you're putting in there, Pas?
Milk powder packet. I think we go through about a pack a fortnight. So I think there's 2 packets in here. This will be the 3rd. Hopefully it'll get through. Yeah, this is going to be fine. So it's already been pushed down with the steel, the sharpening steel. Tool. Push it in like that. And it really doesn't take up very much room at all, the milk packet. Can't even see it anymore. There you go. So it's basically plastic. Oh, there's a bit of aluminium foil there too.
So that's essentially all the packaging that we couldn't take things out when we left. Some things we just had to go with packaging, right?
Yeah. I used to be a bit more pedantic about getting rid of all the packaging before we left, but I find that keeping stuff in the plastics bags keeps it fresher longer, so I tend to just open it and stuff as we need it now, instead of putting things into containers and risking stuff going bad if we don't eat it.
And that's why we've come up with the garbage compaction.
Yeah, so now we have a garbage compactor.
It's getting pretty solid, but I think we've got another, what do you think, another week or 2 in there? We could probably...
Or do we just get rid of it in Exmouth?
We'll have to get another one. If we can
yeah,
get
we
another...
might get another thing to refill our stove. It's good as well because it doesn't smell. So there's no smelly bags of plastic rubbish anywhere.
Yeah.
It's great.
We knew that a significant weather system was on its way, and we wanted to get Marul into a safe anchorage, secure from wind and waves. Having a small draft of only 1.34 metres and a full keel means we can attempt quite shallow passages in our little boat, though running aground now would see us unintentionally careening in anything less than calm waters.
not where I want it to be, because it's not that exciting, but it'll do. It's better than being stuck in the bottom.
So can you explain what we were just trying to do then? To people watching?
So we were just trying to, there's a shallow bit coming around this point close, and I wanted to get up there. We've come through here before, but we needed to be on the higher tide. So of the 2 high tides today, this afternoon's one was the lower one. I thought I'd just try my luck and see if we could get in. And I was zigzagging, you know, and I was like, oh, a bit deeper, and I'd follow that path, and then I'd zigzag again, and I'd just keep taking the path that was a bit deeper. Each time I zigged or zagged, it didn't really matter. Everything was 0.2 of a metre, 20 centimetres. So it was time to cut our losses, come back to this part. So at the moment we've got a metre under us, and we're going to lose 30 centimetres. So that's not too bad. So as long as we don't have half-metre waves coming through here, we should be fine.
And what did you say? We have an extra half-metre with the tide tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so that should get us through.
Mm-hmm.
Half a metre's all we need.
Great.
The next morning, bright and early, with signs of the foul weather on its way and half a metre more water to work with, we began to pick our way through the unsurveyed shallow passage to our proposed anchorage.
You can see the deep channel.
I can see a bit of darker water going around. Like there's a shallow bank coming off here. It's a nice light because you don't need Polaroids. We might be able to go around, which is what I want to do.
After a bit of anxiety on my part, the sounder started to go up, and we were able to eyeball our way to the deeper water. We'd made it, and just in time too.
"13 volts on the voltmeter, 2 metres under the keel."
We're at a deeper hole. We're safe.
This is a nice refuge from our troubles. So it's a work day today. Salt footage, make videos, make water.
Sounds healthy.
Listen to that noise, eh?
Our tiller pilot that handles our automatic steering started to have intermittent faults that all pointed toward bad contacts somewhere.
It's a pretty wild affair, isn't it? See what we can do about cleaning that up. I had intended to put this one into service with an extension cord, and I just tested it. It doesn't work.
This is our spare.
Yeah, our friend Jim so kindly gave us this to as a spare backup, but it doesn't work. So you know, what's worse than having a Simrad TP10 on your boat? Having 2 Simrad TP10s on your boat. This is the second one. A while ago, if you've been with us for a little while, you'll remember the other one failed, and I rang up the guy and he said, "Have you got a spare one?" These are about $1,500. So no, we didn't have a spare one, so we ended up hand steering our way around Northern Australia. They're not waterproof either. It doesn't look like the wiring was tin.
In the end, Troy resolved our issues by cleaning out some corrosion that had taken hold and renewing the wiring. Good afternoon from Exmouth. We have been here a few days and we've actually berthed at Exmouth Marina. It's a little tiny marina in the Gulf of Exmouth. We've had some time off walking around and hanging out in Exmouth and just resting and having like a proper night's sleep, not an anchor, just being docked. You know, we've had a bit of a hard time of it with the winds and the storms coming through, so it's been nice to just relax. But we're tackling some chores today. Unfortunately, when we were coming up on the outside of Ningaloo Reef, the day that we caught that beautiful mahi-mahi, as the winds died in the afternoon, we switched on the engine, but the throttle lever was, well, it wasn't in neutral, and there was quite a lot of revs that went through the engine when we switched it on. It came to light that there was a whole lot of smoke in the engine room, put it that way, and yeah, we went in there and discovered that the exhaust, there's some pinholes or some corrosion in the exhaust, we think. So Troy is currently pulling it out, our exhaust pipe out of the engine, just to have a better look, and we'll show you where he's at. Something's missing from in here.
Boy, someone did a really great job of wiring this insulation on.
Oh.
That was me.
You?
Yeah.
You did a good job.
I did.
Holy moly.
Holy.
What's all that black stuff around the pipe?
That is diesel soot.
Uh-oh.
So we've got a pinhole in our exhaust. Somewhere. Bit of porosity. So we've separated that where it's all black and had a look. And it just put some muffler repair on it. Until such date, well, I guess another one will just be fabricated. She's a bit old, this one now. So.
4 years to be precise. We got that one made up in Darwin.
We did. If we almost made it to the Monties, then we could have had celebrated our anniversary of fixing our old one with a can of tomatoes. Uh-oh. Oh no. What do we do? So basically the backbone of this repair is this bit of tin that we've cut from the Coles tomato. Thank you, Coles. We're going to have a bit of an overlap there. Alright. Bit of spiral, so because like it is on the bend. And then we're going to hose clamp that like crazy. And then insulation. And then no marine repair is complete without gaffer tape. So it doesn't have to be that drastic this time. We've still got a good solid pipe there. It's just got a little pinhole, so we can just get away with a heat resistant epoxy tape. A muffler repair.
Just? Oh yeah, look at that.
I'm going to put some putty on there.
Putty?
And then wrap it.
Yep.
So we've got some heat resistant solid putty and then wrap it. So.
Well, good thing you bought the putty. You weren't going to.
Yeah. We don't have time to get it welded, so this repair will last a fair while. And this hand sanitizing gel that sort of became everywhere recently, it's really good with wet and dry to clean up steel for all sorts of purposes. I guess you can clean your hands with it too, but look at that. We're ready.
Ready for putty?
There's lots of different types of epoxy putties, but you just need to make sure we're getting a heat resistant one. You know, not all, some epoxies soften under heat. These don't. Not intended for structural applications. So once we have like this putty on there, then we'll wrap it with the tailpipe bandage. That's epoxy impregnated as well.
So tape is going on over the putty.
This actually needs heat to set it off.
Right.
They need to run the engine
Yep.
after this, but it's the way it's going on is questionable. Because it's not a straight repair, you know, it's like it goes around in a curve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not happy with it at all.
With the repair completed, at least until we could get to Dampier to have a new one fabricated, we were on our way out of the Gulf to take anchorage at Tantabiddy and wait for the next weather system to take us north.
We've just come around Norwest Reef and Norwest Cape, and this place, if you look on the chart, it has these little lines. And they don't really give you a full taste of it. You get a lot of tidal overruns here, so we really had to time our arrival here to get close to slack tide. You know, it sort of looks a bit dramatic, but it didn't really impact us that much. But Norwest Reef's going off at the moment. You can see another yacht, they've decided to take the inside and they've timed it really nicely as well to get in there on slack tide, so they're not going to get any tidal overruns. So we're enjoying some pretty good speed at the moment, but we're expecting about half a knot of tide heading us as we go a bit further south. But we're going to go in and sort of hug the reef. Hopefully we don't end up too close hauled. See if there's any whale sharks or manta rays getting along the reef as we sail along. But I'm pretty happy with today's timing. What do you think, Pasky? It hasn't been too bad.
Up at 5, off at 6.
Up at 5, coffees, out at 6. Rounding the Cape, the skyline's sort of been dominated by those great big masts there. The US Navy came in through the mid-60s and erected those, and they're called VLF towers, which is very low frequency. And that's all an effort to communicate with the US subs that were sort of far-ranging. When they first went up, they were the tallest structures in the Southern Hemisphere. The centre tower, and it's sort of like a Star of David if you look directly down from it where the masts are laid out. And then they suspend a great big net of radio antenna. So the tower at the centre was 387 point whatever, but 388 metres tall. It's about 2 kilometres across. There's just loads and loads of material went in there. I would have loved to have been involved, but I think back in the 60s it would have been pretty loose how they put it up. Not by today's standards. So it's been pretty controversial over its past. Like there's been a lot of protests and stuff like that going on around it. 350,000 metres of copper wire to make like a big, well, I don't know, maybe the ground?
Sound wave bed. No, radio wave bed.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's true. Someone told me like those, and I mean really long wavelengths, low frequency. So I was told that they communicate with subs when they can be under the ice. Don't know if it's true, but they were able to talk to the subs all over the world, where they were ranging around. So that's the hotel in the pub. That was called the Pot Shot, and the rationale there was that this was Australia's #1 nuclear target. If we started swapping nukes, this place would go because it was such an important communication centre to the subs. You take this out, they can't tell the sub to shoot a nuke at you. I'm glad it never came to that. That head.
Oh!
Hello.
Oh, it's 2 of them. Oh, like a female and 2 males.
The third thing to fail us during our stay on the Ningaloo coast was our Watermaker. The bolts holding the high pressure chamber failed, allowing a spray of high pressure salt water to escape into the boat, which is not great.
It sheared the head off that one and the nut off that one.
Yeah, so the bolt sheared and you've just got the nut like that.
So this one here, the head totally sheared off it, and I think this one actually popped first, and then that was left the other one holding the bag. So it went. Yeah, so I've got threaded rod that's right, like that's 8mm. Yeah, no, these are 5/16.
Oh, so is this a problem?
Nothing's a problem.
Maybe.
It's 5/16 and 8mm are near enough. So the thread pitch and that'll be, it doesn't really matter. It's just like I've got enough M8 nuts to deal with this threaded rod for what we want. That's the only important thing, because you can see here, the M8 threaded rod. Oh, look at that. Like a thumb and a bum, mate. So you know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
Because I'm a wicked and evil man. I'm going to just lube that up with silicone lube and stick it back in there, and I'm going to I'll operate that so it closes, and I'll reassemble this and then see if it works. And then if it doesn't leak, I'm going to put it back in, and if it does leak, then I'm going to have to pull it all completely apart.
All right.
But it's 5 in the afternoon at the moment, so I'm sort of tempted just to go, let's see if this works.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that went wrong is those sheared, and then that popped out, and then it sort of flooded behind our cupboards with salt water for a while. It's an interesting route that salt water took, actually, as it went down that hole back there, and then it chased the wiring. It went down, and into there.
Into the batteries.
And then it sort of came out on the floor. I was like, how did it get to the floor? Because that's all dry in there, and these drawers didn't fill up. So our wet weather locker got a bit wet. In behind there got a bit wet. This stuff got wet. And you know what else I'm really grateful for? That during refit that we coated all this with good paint.
Yes.
And epoxied everything.
Epoxied everything.
See how clean a cut it is, and to see if it takes a thread immediately.
You can file it, hey, if it's not quite clean.
Yeah, but if you make cuts with a hacksaw, generally it's so fine that you won't screw up the thread for the lead in. I'll just leave that nut on there though, because if it won't, you can unwind the nut over it, and it will take any burrs.
Yep.
And it doesn't cut a new thread, but it sort of chases the thread and it makes it possible again. So. It's pretty good. It's going to have to do. I don't have any split washers, mate.
Oh, that size anyway.
Yeah, and to look at it, I don't think that they would be a bit proud anyway.
Yeah.
We'll chuck a little bit of Loctite 243 on there, eh?
Is that the heavy duty stuff?
No.
Oh no.
Loctite 270 is the scary one.
So this is just so that you don't get the.
No, it'll stop it from undoing.
Yeah. It'll lock it tight.
Just leave the dad jokes to me, will you? Actually.
You did put a splitty on. You changed your mind. You're a loose nut.
I like how you girls get upset when us fellas change our minds.
Because I'm not guilty of being indecisive.
You're really good until we get a menu at a nice restaurant. And then it's shockingly bad. The FOMO kicks in. That didn't look too bad.
By Jove, it's looking good.
No one does dodgy like free range sailing, do they? Hey? Look at that.
This is the bush fix.
You don't want to carry lots of stuff with you, but the stuff you carry wants to be broadly useful, right?
Mhm.
And that's another good thing, you know, like when we standardised everything on the deck, like most things that hold things together on this boat are 5mm, 6mm or 8mm with a smattering of 10 and 12s here and there, so it made life easy to cover. I didn't expect this one though, so
You're just lucky that the threaded rod was the right thickness.
yeah, we've got some other, I think we've got some M6 threaded rod looking around too. I'm pretty bad at walking past 316 stainless threaded rod.
If you see it lying around somewhere.
Yeah, like
if I
no, nut and bolt store.
I like how organised your nut and bolts are.
It's unusual, isn't it?
It's a sad day when the box falls open and everything falls out.
Don't even talk about it. It's happened.
It's happened and it'll happen again.
Hey. Tone down your language.
Oh, is it happening now? Oh, you got it in your face. Salt water in your face.
Don't sound so happy about that.
Where did it go though? It jetted out.
It did jet out.
Not straight into your face, so it went somewhere else.
No, it went straight into my glasses, and
Did it go? Oh, it might have gone out the companionway.
that'd be pretty cool. That's unusually good luck.
It didn't look like. It doesn't look like it went inside the boat.
Oh no, there it is. There's a bit there.
Okay.
That's just
Oh,
from
that's
bouncing
not
off
too
my
bad.
face. Have you ever noticed that when we have bad luck, we still have good luck?
As in the bolts sheared, but the water did go everywhere.
It sort of went everywhere, but it
We
didn't
didn't
go.
sink the boat.
We didn't sink the boat. It didn't go anywhere crucial. I just got like a massive spurt in the face, but I was wearing glasses, and it didn't. It didn't go onto a computer or anything.
So it wasn't leaking.
Didn't leak, did it?
You just got to reinstall it with the pump things and see if it works now. Is that the next trick?
Yeah. So if I see that it's making fresh water, we can call that a success. Water's not leaking out of where we repaired, so leaving a Watermaker unattended is bad.
So to give you a bit of background to this whole situation, we decided to go for a quick dive. We took our guns with us just to grab some fish because we didn't have any fish in the fridge. So we went for just a quick dive and left the Watermaker running. And when we came back, there was a lot of water on the galley floor, wasn't there, in the main area?
I actually saw the water on the floor, and then I pulled the hose out the jerry can, and no water was coming in, and in fact water was going back and forth like that, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have been so bad if it was just a bit of fresh water, like we'd overfilled the jerry can.
It would have been nice actually to fresh water rinse the floor, because we're going to have to anyway.
Yeah, everything's a bit salty now. Most of the salt water ended up in the battery compartment, which we saw you sucking out with the deck hose pump. You reversed it. Is it too early to see if it's fresh? It's only been like 2 minutes, but no, it's been more than that. It's been 5 minutes now. It's fresh? Did you fix it? Baby!
That was, I'm gratified by how easily impressed you are by that. Just sawing up some threaded rod and putting it
Make
in
some
there.
bolts. Yeah, but you had the preparation and the hindsight to have everything that we needed to fix it.
It's true.
If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button helps to get this video suggested to like-minded people. Thanks in advance and see you next time.